Hey there YouTube, this is Mr.Lubufu and welcome to Mastering Magic. Today we're going to cover, the lore of Mirage Block. Since the story of Weatherlight is so heavily influential in the following block, I'm actually just going to be covering Mirage and Visions. So, it's a pretty interesting story, and let's go ahead and head in. Welcome to Jamuraa, a land steeped in magical traditions that have existed for millennia on the plane of Dominaria. The northwest of the huge continent of Jamuraa is occupied by three nations: the militaristic kingdom of the Zalfrins, the state of Femeref, and the trading province of the Zukata Empire. Naturally, after some time, the three nations found themselves on the brink of war, and enter our first hero, Teferi. Teferi was an ancient court mage of Zhalfir, and his name still commanded respect centuries after his departure for other planes. Teferi was a planeswalker. Teferi was attempting to manipulate time so that he might overcome the difficulties of magical summoning, but his experiments were met with limited success. After years of trial and error, Teferi concluded that the process was inherently unstable. Random effects constantly occurred, and worse still, Teferi discovered that his early and clumsy experiments had damaged the time stream and threatened to unravel the time stream across Dominaria if left unattended. Hardened by the knowledge of his culpability, Teferi prepared to fix the time stream with a colossal energy burst, a dangerous maneuver at best, but his only real hope of repairing the damage. What happened next was, truly unexpected. The energy unleashed caused every plant, animal, and building on Teferi's Isle to phase out of existence. All that remained was the barren, rocky foundation of the Isle. The nations of Jamuraa knew nothing of this, but three mages powerful enough to perceive the subtle ripple in the time stream took notice. First, Mangara of Corondor. Second was Jorael, an ancient hermit, and third was Kaervek of the Burning Isles. The three mages met on the barren rock that had once been Teferi's Isle. No one could explain the mysterious residual temporal energy, but the three's curiosity was piqued, and they agreed to settle in Jamuraa and keep a close eye on the Isle. Mangara immediately strove for peace between the three nations, but Kaervek was horrified. He had always had dreams of ruling a nation, and he began to undo all of Mangara's work. The situation escalated, and the continent bordered on a massive war. It was then when Kaervek sent a message to Mangara, an offer of assistance in dealing with the troubles. Mangara agreed to meet with Kaervek and the Monvuli Delta. But Mangara never returned from that encounter. Kaervek and Jorael ambushed him, capturing him within an amber prison. When Kaervek approached the leaders of the three great clans demanding fealty, they refused, uniting against a common enemy. War had begun. And amidst the chaos of the war, one major event had been overlooked by everyone. Teferi's Isle had returned. Almost 200 years after its disappearance, the Isle was back. Teferi now protects the Isle from one of Jorael's dragons and immediately heads to rid the land of these new invaders. If he can free Mangara, they have a fighting chance. Cue Visions. The war for Jamuraa has raged for over a year. Femeref has been invaded. Zukata has closed its borders. The Zhalfirins are being pushed back across the plains into their heartland. And of course, Kaervek feels assured of victory. But Jorael had secretly tried to release Mangara from the amber prison that trapped him, but she had only been stopped by wards Kaervek had set, a clear sign of his distrust of her. It was only a matter of time before Kaervek discovered her attempt. She had to find help, and she had to find it now. She magically transported her physical self to the Isle, and there she assured Teferi that she bore him no ill, confessing her part in Kaervek's invasion, and begged for Teferi's aid. He refused to intercede. His experiments were fragile, and if left unattended, could threaten Jamuraa far more than Kaervek's plans. Instead, he offered to guide the leaders of Jamuraa through dreams and visions. He would show them the location of Mangara and the key to unlocking the Amber Prison. Thanks to Teferi's dreams, the people of the city of Tefemburu decided to leave a massive trap for Kaervek's armies, and it was successful. Most of Kaervek's armies were destroyed, left useless after the brilliant trap. Panicked, Kaervek summoned reinforcements with his remaining powers. He found that the isle which had drawn him to Jamuraa in the first place 2 centuries before was newly inhabited, and he knew those newcomers must be responsible for his defeat. He gathered Jor-El and the remaining forces and sailed to Teferi's isle. Kaervek's confrontation with Teferi was short-lived. The Planeswalker made short work of Kaervek's armada, sending most of the Evil Mage's forces to the ocean floor. During the battle, Jor-El turned upon Kaervek, severely injuring the mage in a heated arcane battle. Meanwhile, Asmira, Rashida, and the Scalebane elite, a group guided by the visions of Teferi, rode to free Mangara. They were on the brink of failure when a captain, Cisse, and her flying galleon, the Weatherlight, landed before them and took them to the Amber Prison for which they were headed. They reached it and found stiff resistance, but eventually Asmira sacrificed herself to free Mangara. No longer imprisoned, Mangara magically transported himself to face Kaervek. After a fierce battle, Mangara pinned the mage and sealed him in the Amber Prison. With Kaervek gone, his few remaining forces went into hiding. Mangara rebuilt Zhalfir and Femeref, aided by the new trust between the two countries, and peace returned. Teferi went back and repaired the timeline, and the happy ending ends. Join us next time where we go and see that the happy ending isn't so happy when we continue on with the Weatherlight saga. Thank you all for watching.